All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, Salakia. Salakia. First and foremost, call Halayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rechaha Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you brothers pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Great famine is on the way, man. All right, great famine is on the way, and it's going to hit America with a vengeance. All right, this situation with Ukraine is going to push famine because the soldiers got to be fed. And this article I have is going to get into it using examples of World War I and World War II to illustrate that. And then also the situation that just sparked off between Palestine and the Israelis. And that's going to assist this famine that's coming as well, on top of, government, the potential government shutdown, it was averted, but only for 45 days or something like that, 35 days, 45 days. So that's gonna rear its ugly head, soon. So the whole geopolitical spectrum that we see taking place on Earth is gonna add to resources, in particular food resources, being designated for certain purposes or certain individuals, being, soldiers need to eat. Okay, so you got soldiers that's going to be needing to eat, that's defending countries. So that's going to take away from, the abundance that people are accustomed to. So rationing is going to be enforced. All right, so I'm going to read this article and grab some scripture. So this is from October 5th, 2023, which was 5 days ago. It says, and this is from naturalnews.com. It says, World War III will be the excuse for extreme food rationing across America. It says, during every major world war, food rationing was imposed to offset hiccups in agricultural production. And the same will be true upon the arrival of World War III, which will serve as the excuse for an engineered food collapse. All right. So this World War III is going to literally bring about an engineered food collapse. It's not going to be a food collapse that happens naturally. It's engineered. All right. It's orchestrated. Okay. And last year, I want to say not necessarily last year, but within the last couple of years, you've had a lot of like farms that purposefully destroyed whole crops that was good. Nothing was wrong with them. There wasn't a bad harvest or anything. They just destroyed, plenteous crops. All right, because once again, this famine that's coming is going to be a engineered famine. All right, it says during World War I, so many farms were transformed into battlefields, and so much of the transportation network disrupted that moving food to grocery stores was no longer as easy as it once was. This is why on August 10th, 1917, right after the United States entered the war, the U.S. Food Administration was established to merge the wartime supply, conservation, distribution, and transportation of food. The President, Woodrow Wilson, appointed future President Herbert Hoover to heap up the U.S. Food Administration, to which he also developed a voluntary program that relied on Americans' compassion and sense of patriotism patriotism, to support the larger war effort, to quote history.com, in order to provide U.S. troops and allies with the sustenance required to maintain their strength and vitality. Protesters urged citizens to reduce their personal consumptions of meat, wheat, fats, and sugars were plastered throughout communities. It says slogans such as "Food will win the war" compelled people to avoid wasting precious groceries and encourage them to eat a multitude of fresh fruits and vegetables, which were too difficult to transport overseas. Likewise, promotions such as Meatless Tuesdays and Wheatless Wednesdays implored Americans to voluntarily modify their eating habits in order to increase shipments to the valiant soldiers defending our freedom. Okay, so as it says, they were refraining from certain things, eating certain things, all for the purpose of being mindful for the soldiers that was overseas, fighting these wars. Okay, so that's gonna happen again, man. That's gonna happen again. People gonna be going to grocery stores, and you ain't gonna be able to find certain things that you want. The product that's gonna be in the grocery stores is gonna be low quality. All right, way more GMO. Fruits and vegetables old and withered. That's what's coming. Okay. It says World War III will be the war to end all wars. It says once again. World War III, a voluntary conservation effort was attempted. World War II. It says once again in World War II, a voluntary conservation effort was attempted, but that failed and had to morph into mandatory restrictions on foods. All right, so don't be surprised if the same thing happens here with World War III. Esau's gonna promote and want people to cut back on certain things, but these people are so used to life of decadence that they're not voluntarily gonna do that. Or it's going the famine is gonna have to be forced. People's eating habits is gonna be forced to have to change when the government restricts how much people can consume. Okay, because America is full of a bunch of obese people. Okay, it says like World War I, so much food was being shipped off to Europe to help soldiers and others impacted by the war that there was not enough left for Americans. On January 30th, 1942, the Emergency Control Act was implemented to grant the Office of Price Administration the legal authority to set price limits and ration food and other commodities to discourage hoarding and to ensure that there was enough food to go around for everyone. So there you go. Rationing. All right. Rationing is coming back with a vengeance. All right. With a vengeance, rationing is going to come back. All these Israelite women, getting food stamps, these food stamp systems, they're about to go under. All right, because if the government shuts down all that assistance that these Israelite women get for all those kids they got, all those baby daddies they have, all right, and they use those kids from those baby daddies to get government assistance. Soon, they gonna have no choice but to stand in line and wait for some rations, man. Okay, so it's gonna get real ugly out here. Okay, it says at one point Americans could not purchase sugar unless they obtained special government issued coupons. There was also a voucher system imposed for coffee, meat, cheese, fats, canned fish, canned milk, and various other processed foods. Then came the war ration books filled with stamps that Americans were told to use to buy restricted items within the first week of their issuance. More than 91% of Americans had registered to participate in the War Ration Books program. All right, so 91% of the population of America, all right, during this time, okay, during what was this, World War II, okay, they 91% signed up to be in this program, okay. So how about now? All right. It says the OPA allotted a certain amount of points to each food item based on its availability. The customers were allowed to use 48 blue points to buy canned, bottled, or dried foods, and 64 red points to buy meat, fish, and dairy each month. That is, if the items were in stock at the market. It says, due to changes in the supply and demand of various goods, the OPA periodically adjusts the point values, which often further complicated an already complex system that required home cooks to plan well in advance to prepare meals. It says things were very difficult in the U.S. during the first two real wars, though. There was solidarity and a common culture for one, and the average person was much more resilient and willing to help a friend or neighbor in need. Today, Americans are the opposite of this, feeding off the greed and corruption that keeps the system going. All right. So, yeah, it's a quick little read, but it's about to get bad, man. All right. It's about to get real ugly. Okay. It's about to get real ugly. But that famine, the Lord is going to bring that famine. And that's, according to the scriptures, that's the worst way to go out, man. Getting your head blown off is better than dying and suffering famine. Okay, so this is Ezekiel 7:14. It says, as you can see, it says the desolation of Israel. All right, it says they have blown the trumpet even to make all ready, but none go to the battle. All right, and that's the prophets, right? The prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we've been blowing the trumpet, letting Israelites know, hey, get ready. All right, get ready. Letting our people know that you do have an enemy. You do have a mortal enemy. All right, a people that was created to just be, the adversary. Okay, and he has plans on doing some horrific things to our nation. He wants to use every definition of the word genocide. When you go into the law definition of genocide, you have the main definition, then you have subcategories of definitions of the definition, and each one of those definitions is what he's been doing to bring about our eradication from the planet, man. And it's only gonna ramp up and increase because we're in the end. As the scripture saying in Revelation, he had a short time. Esau knows he had a short time. All right, so with all these events popping off pertaining to war, the situation in Ukraine, the situation with the Israelis in Palestine, which that in itself is a powder keg waiting to go off. All right, and that by nature is going to drag a whole bunch of other nations into the mix, man. World War III, hence the word World War III. Okay, midway through verse 14, it says, but none go to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour. And that's what's coming, man. Okay, these major cities that you see, okay, this city, Seattle, You know, it's a major city, downtown, you know, a bustling city. People walking around, you ain't no telling who you'll see. You know, people got money. You know, money flows through here. All right, business and trade and all that's going on. And then you got people that live in the middle of downtown Seattle in these in skyrise apartments, man. All right. Well, guess what? The closer we get to this World War III being at its climax, all right, the whole world's about to shut down. You know, the situation with the Israelis is going to cause the whole world to shut down because they're the ones that rule the world. Okay, so when that happens, when these cities shut down, and you know the grinding comes to a halt, all these idiots that live in these major cities is gonna be in for it. All right, in the NLT it says, verse 15, it says, there is war outside the city and disease and famine within. Okay, because when you go out into the country, it's gonna be a no man's land. Where if you're out there, it's fair game. You know, you gotta protect your neck at all times. There ain't no telling, you know, what's gonna be out there. People gonna be trying to travel through the woods, and you know, to get from one place to the next. The highways are shut down. They're gonna be trying to get from one city to the next. You know, via you know, some trail or some path, or you know, some backwoods route that they know, and might end up getting put to death out there, man. You know, getting robbed, and you know, woman getting ravished, your kids getting killed, you getting killed. You know, ain't no telling, man. That's the reality of the world that the world is gonna be faced with, man. Okay, and as it says, and disease and famine within, because in these cities, you're gonna have shit, the zombies, man. All right, you're gonna have these people getting sick, and that shit's gonna spread. The cities ain't gonna be cleaned. Ain't gonna be no street sweepers coming through sweeping up trash. All right, sewage systems is gonna be all topsy-turvy. People gonna be defecating in the street, which they already doing. Drugs, okay, dead bodies, not buried. And the cities is nothing more than a concrete jungle. So it's gonna get real ugly in these cities, man. All right. It says those outside the city walls will be killed by enemy swords. Those inside the city will die of famine and disease. All right. And that's what this world is. You know, the path is directed. You know, is headed toward. You know, which is beautiful, because despite all this happening, you know, the elect is being sealed, and we know that there's an end to this story. As the scriptures say, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. All right. Isaiah 65 and verse, let me see, 13. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. All right, so the servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to eat. Okay, the servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to be good, going to be taken care of. All right, according to Salakia, hold on just a second. All right, according to prophecy, the servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to eat and be taken care of. Going to be all right. All right. Being that we trust in the Heavenly Father. He's got us, you know, thus far. He's been with us thus far. All right. So why wouldn't the Lord continue to be with us? to protect us, to guide us, to feed us, to nourish us. All right. It says, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So the servants of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to be all right. All right. The servants of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to be all right, going to be taken care of. All right. Now, we might not have abundance and be eating, 3 square, meals, 4 course meals a day type ordeal when this all goes down. But the Lord ain't never going to put something on you that you can't bear. So you might have to go a day without eating. But guess what? Us fasting, before things get, turbulent, is preparation for when things do get turbulent. Brothers is accustomed to fasting, not eating for a period of time and all that. All right. Meanwhile, all these other people, they never fasted a day in their life. Okay. So the Lord is preparing us, man. He's been preparing us. Verse 14, it says, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right. So when the Lord pulls the plug, man, Jake gonna be doing bad. Jake gonna be out here down bad, man. Just messed up, going through it, hating life. Okay. But that's the result. That's what happens when you deny the Lord and you mock his prophets. Okay. You mock the prophets of the Heavenly Father. That's the result, man. And this is 2 Ezra 16:19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Okay. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils are come? And that, man, we're seeing that, man. We're seeing famine. All right. We're seeing wars. All right. Sorrow, mourning. All these things is gonna come to a perfection. All right, they're gonna come to a state of when these things, it's more than apparent that these things is a factor in the earth. Just how in you turn on a TV and they play all this BS. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that's plastered. That's all people think about, talk about, at work, is whatever they seen on CNN. Well, when the famine hits and it's real deal potency, okay, when these wars get to a point to where that's all to be talked about, hey, that's the trajectory of the world, man. Is a few focal points of potency, via prophecy that the world can expect. Okay. Verse 19, behold, famine, plague, tribulation, anguish, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So the Lord's been sending scourges. All right. And if people were smart, they would amend their ways to please the Lord. But people are so far removed from righteousness that they're not going to do it. Okay. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. All right. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, right? Because you can get a damn 70-inch TV for a couple $100. You got some people that's so fucking stupid that, you know, that idiot box, as long as they got that microwavable foods in that idiot box and PlayStation or Xbox, you know, where they can play their video games on that big ass TV, they not concerned with the conditions of the world and how those conditions directly affect them. You know, that's the state of the world, man. But even with all that, you know, thinking they in good case, hey, meanwhile, outside the comforts of their home, the world is getting worse. All right, sword, famine, and great confusion, man. All right. It says, verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And that's what it said in Ezekiel. Okay? It said that in Ezekiel, man. Verse 15, Ezekiel 7:15, it says, in the NLT, there is war outside the city, and disease and famine, and famine within. Those outside the city wall shall be killed by enemy swords, and those inside the city will die of famine and disease. All right, that's what it's pretty much what it said here in 2nd Ezra 16. All right. Verse 23, it says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Right? So when these dead bodies die in these cities, ain't no cleanup crew, no crypt keeper that's riding around with a hearse, you know, a Cadillac hearse, picking up dead bodies to dispose of them or give them a proper send off. Ain't gonna be none of that, man. It's just gonna be, you know, human bodies just littering the streets, man. Just you know, exposed to the elements in crazy ass stages of decay. Okay. So, you know, that's pretty much that. Lord willing, this has been edifying, man. These situations that's taking place on the earth pertaining to these skirmishes and battles, not only here in America, you know, as far as, you know, the civil war. There's just the civil tension, the racial tension is going to increase to a point of civil war. But so not only here in America, but over in other parts of the world, you know, those wars and battles is going to lead to, you know, more and more, you know, food shortages, all right, and orchestrated, engineered food collapse. So, Alvarez is out. This was edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.